Hi YouTubers. Today we're going to do another COVID-19 update. It's August 1st, 2020. Today I want to talk about our opening the schools in the United States. The pandemic is currently out of control, especially in the southern states. Kids are spreading the infection. I felt this all along, even before the evidence has come out recently to document that kids have a higher level of viral particles in their nose, and that they definitely are spreading it. I've felt this way all along, despite the fact that some prominent infectious disease specialists in children were saying, nah, it's not so much a problem with kids. That never made any sense to me. It's now documented, yes, they do spread it. Yes, they do get sick, not as frequently as adults, but they do get it, and some of them get very sick, and some die from it. But we're in the middle of a pandemic, and the people in the United States, most of us get what's going on, but there's a significant minority who don't. They refuse to do the things that are necessary to control the pandemic, such as social distancing, wearing a face covering, hand sanitizers, etc. The few things that we need to do to keep from spreading it from another, they're not doing it. I was in Walmart yesterday. 25% of the people were not wearing a mask properly. It was either below the nose or hanging on the neck, and they were oblivious to it. And then you see in the news that, somebody mentions to someone that they should wear a mask, and they get all hostile and shoot them. So people are afraid to talk to one another and say, hey, you need to do this. So if we open the schools, there are going to be mass spreading events all over the place. Now, I'm not saying that it can't be done. It can be done, sure. But when I look to see what people are actually doing, I see that what I believe will happen is a significant number of schools will screw it up. They won't do it properly, and there will be mass spreading events at these schools, and it's going to be a lot of them, and it's going to be all over the country. And it won't just be Florida, Texas, Arizona, California. It'll be like in New Jersey and New York too, where we think we've got it under control, but our cases are starting to go back up again too, because we're getting complacent. And we have an erroneous concept of what control is. Now, the Asians have it right when in Thailand, Vietnam, Hong Kong, South Korea, when they get a case, they go crazy, and they immediately take strict measures to get the case count down to 0, and they don't stop until they get it down to basically 0. In the United States, we've got, like, in New Jersey, we were having 300 new cases a day, and we were, patting ourselves on the back and saying how wonderful we were. New York was having 800 new cases a day, and they were saying, yeah, we've done wonderfully. Well, they have done wonderfully compared to the mess they were in previously, but they nowhere near have it under control. And we don't have it under control in New Jersey, and we're far better off than the people in the South. They're in a real mess. And what are they planning to do? They're planning to open the schools. And what's going to happen when they open the schools? Well, you saw what happened in that summer camp, where half the kids that went to the camp within a few days we're all infected. Well, that's what's going to happen in the schools. Now you say, well, okay, fine, they slept overnight, and that's different than in the schools. Okay, so maybe it'll take a day or two longer when they open the schools, a day or two longer than it did in the overnight camp. But, you know, it's going to be a mess, and then we're going to have to turn the whole thing back. Now, the AAP and CDC and everybody's saying, oh, schools are important. They're extremely important, critical. We have to open them. Well, I don't disagree at all of the importance. And go down the entire list of reasons why the schools need to be open. I agree with all of them. And yeah, we should open them. But we can't open them because we're in the middle of a pandemic and we don't have it under control. We could get it under control, but we won't get it under control until we get rid of Trump. Because everything's coming down from the top, and we don't have testing, we don't have a coordinated response, and we don't have the pandemic under control, and you can't open schools until you get it under control. And what's going to happen? This is what's going to happen. We're going to have mass spreading events, and everybody's going to have to dial it back and say, okay, no, that didn't work, and we're going to have to start again. What's my recommendation? Get the damn pandemic under control. How do we do that? Well, the first thing you got to do is get rid of Trump. I can't see how we can get it under control with Trump there. He has the power to screw it up. Nobody seems to want to stop him. You know, that's the way it is. People are going to be pissed off at me for saying this, but this is how I see it. So yeah, I want the schools open. I want them open as soon as possible. But we got to get the pandemic under control first. Thanks for watching.